Well, we've been hearing more and more how families are struggling this economy and how financial stress is starting to take its toll.
There are so many questions about what will work best to help. Coming up, we'll have a Bankruptcy 101 explainer break down what filing really does for you.
Welcome back, everybody. Financial stress has sadly become the norm for so many of us today. The situation can be overwhelming, and so is the process of finding the best options to help you try to get out of that debt.
Bankruptcy is one form of relief, but there are several different types, and you need to make sure you pick the appropriate one for your situation. Attorney Anthony Hughes joins us to share how the process works and what it actually entails. Welcome, Anthony. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. You know, everyone knows this is one of the worst financial crises that we've been through in our lifetimes. I'm a local bankruptcy attorney that offers solutions and alternative solutions to people's debt issues.
At what point, Anthony, should someone contact an attorney to talk about their debt or their financial situation?
Melissa, right now is the right time, because it doesn't matter where you are along the path of your debt issues. It cannot hurt to get an analysis from a professional right now. You don't want to miss out on any options or opportunities that you could have now that you might not have tomorrow.
With all the foreclosures happening, is there a tool that can help stop the sale of a house?
Well, a bankruptcy will stop a foreclosure immediately. Even if you contact us the night before, we can file a bankruptcy that night, stop a foreclosure the next day.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't recommend waiting that long, but that is usually the fastest and most cost-effective way to stop a foreclosure.
And I think many people may not realize there are different kinds of bankruptcies, and they do different things. So are all bankruptcies the same?
No, depending on the client's goals, there are 4 chapters of bankruptcy that we choose from.
Really? Oh, gosh,
Okay.
I only thought there were 2.
No, and it's very important that people understand that they might not fit into the box of just a Chapter 7. And so if you're going to go see an attorney, make sure they know more than just Chapter 7, or you could be missing out on some very important tools that are available.
What are some of the other tools that the other chapters of bankruptcy offer?
Well, a few examples are keeping you in your home while getting rid of your second mortgage, or modifying your car debt down, modifying your mortgage, restructuring and sometimes discharging tax debt, deferring student loans, and sometimes protecting your co-signers on your secured debts.
Now, because this sounds like, wow, it would help so many people. What do you think their concerns might be, though, when it comes to dealing with their debt or maybe taking the step to learn more about bankruptcy?
When people come into my office, their biggest concerns are their retirement, their house, their car, their credit, and people mistakenly think that it's a very difficult and painful or embarrassing process. That's not the case, and my job is to protect people's assets, protect people's cars, their family, protect their credit as best I can, and discharge their debt.
Well, and I would imagine that a lot of people wait and try and, do their thing on their own and come to you, and by that time it's too late and their credit's already ruined. How do you start rebuilding your credit?
I posted an article on my website that has some very great and specific tips, and that's at www.4406666.com. But in general, if you want to build new credit, you've got to get new credit, you've got to use it, and pay it on time.
What is one of the best things about your job that you do? I mean, I imagine it's a great feeling to see people leave so much more relieved than when they came to your office.
I love keeping people in their houses as long as possible, even if they're not making the payment. That's my way of getting back at the banks for getting us into this financial crisis, and it puts money back into the pockets of California families.
Now, we were talking a little bit about this in the commercial break. Why do you think there's so many misconceptions about debt relief and bankruptcy?
Well, I think part of it's caused by the banks making people fear the alternatives to making their minimum payments on a monthly basis while fattening the bank's profits. And the second is the law is different around the country. So if you listen to an article on television, internet, anything from a different county in California, even a different state, you're going to hear an outcome that could be completely different than what happens here in Northern California. See, California gives you some of the most protection of your assets in a bankruptcy than any other state. So in California, it's rare for someone to file a bankruptcy and lose any assets. In other states, that's not always the case.
So what do you suggest someone should do if they have a question about bankruptcy or they want to speak with you?
I recommend they call my office at 916-440-6666. It's free to call. I've got a lot of valuable information I want to share. I want to give people free analysis I've got an assistant that can take phone calls right now. I can return the call when I get back to my office. And remember, if you've got the financial blues, just pick up the phone, call the law office of Anthony Hughes.
And the website, very helpful. It really fields a lot of the things we touched on today. Thank you.
And start the process now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.